Welcome to Grilling to Get Away, the podcast for backyard grillers who want to escape the everyday and fire up the flavor. Whether you're a seasoned pitmaster or just learning your way around the grill, we're here to share tips, tricks, and recipes that will make your next BBQ unforgettable. We'll talk meats, marinades, and even some mouth-watering sides. Plus, we'll answer your grilling questions and dive into everything you need to turn your backyard into the ultimate grill zone. So grab your tongs, fire up that grill, and let's get started. This is Grilling to Get Away, your go-to podcast for all things barbecue. Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Greg, your host to the Grilling to Get Away podcast. I'm here with a special guest today, Chris Rauch of the podcast Chef. Chris, thank you so much for being on the podcast with me today.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure.
And so we've been connected a little while. See you on Instagram all the time, and we've connected via email a few times over the past year or so. So I'm just interested to hear more about what you're doing in the backyard, because you're a little bit warmer weather than we are here in Wisconsin, down there in Arizona, right?
Absolutely. It's grilling season all year long.
Yeah, I don't know what that's like. It's always it's always grilling season here, but it's a little cold sometimes. So Chris, man, I really appreciate you hopping on with us. And I just want to start off, if you could just give a little bit of background about kind of how you got started in barbecuing and grilling, and then also a little bit how you got into like the podcast Chef.
Yeah, I was I was in the food service industry for like 17 years. Okay. And I worked my way up from dishwasher all the way to executive chef. And I never saw my family. So I had to make a decision. So I got out of the game, and I work at a warehouse now at a laboratory. Okay. So that gives me my weekends. So I figured I would still continue with the chef thing. And so I created the podcast, started up the social media, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Yeah. So you started at the bottom, like, literally, dishwasher. What kind of restaurant was that?
I worked in Virginia Beach because as soon as I got out of the Navy, I went to Virginia Beach Amphitheater, and I was a dishwasher there for a catering company. So I got to see a lot of the people. Basically, what we did is we fed everybody that performed. Okay. So they give you a list of all their needs, and they cook it, and then I would clean up. That was my introductory to the business. And then, I worked in several places after that. I wound up in Branson, Missouri, had $10 to my name, found a restaurant, told them that I had some experience. I wound up just killing it in that kitchen. I worked from the fry cook all the way up to like the top tier would be the grill, because they see the most action. And I realized that I really enjoyed what I was doing. So I went to school out here in Scottsdale Culinary Institute, and I graduated from there. And then I just worked like a dog for 17 years. Yeah. Well, nice mug there. I appreciate the plug. I'm a whore for the affiliates and socials. So,
yeah. And we'll share some of your links here at the end, and we'll post them so people can find you and follow you. But so what did you do in the Navy?
I was a welder and a locksmith.
Okay. So, and you were out there in Virginia Beach area. So, were you on ship, or were you just kind of on land, and what were you doing out there?
Immediately out of boot camp, I was shipped off to Somalia when that place was feeling it.
Yeah.
So I was on USS Guadalcanal.
Okay.
And we did a 6-month med cruise. And then we came back, and I was on that ship for 2 years, and basically was a practicing alcoholic. We just drank all the time. Yeah,
that's okay. We're known for, unfortunately.
I know, but I kind of wised up and realized that I wasn't remembering anything that I was doing, and this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Yeah. So my next ship was the Enterprise. I really toned it down a lot, and actually went out and did stuff, saw things whenever we would hit port, and got my act together.
Okay. So how long were you in? Did you do the kind of standard 4 years, or did you do longer than that?
Four.
Okay. And you got out, you stayed there kind of on the East Coast for a little while doing some work, and then you went to school in Arizona.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Culinary school, man. So that's kind of intense. Let's talk a little bit about that, because I don't think we've had someone that's graduated from culinary school. A lot of the people that we've had on have been kind of like self-taught. So, what does that kind of look like? What does the curriculum kind of look like for that kind of school?
Well, you come in with your basics and some knife skills and all this and that. Teach you how to read a recipe, and then it's just different classes. You take a class on wow, it's been a while. Sauces, stocks. Then you'll have a baking class. You'll have all these different, compartmentalized classes and learning different things. And then it all leads up to running a restaurant. And the very last class is to run the restaurant.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they take you through all of it. Is it kind of like you get to pick, or is it like you actually have to go through each one of those classes?
You have to go through it. You start at the lower and just work your way up. And
okay. So it's a set curriculum that you have to go through each one. It's not like you pick like a major if you want to go down this type of food or this type of restaurant, and then you just take those classes.
It might be now, but when I was going, that's what it was.
Okay. Now, was there like a particular restaurant that they hooked you up with? Like, was it like a training one, or did you actually have to go and find like some restaurant in town to work for?
There was a restaurant on campus. It was called, what was it called? Yeah, I forget, but it was French.
Okay.
And you worked in the front of the house and in the back of the house. And that was your last 2 classes. So everything led up to that.
Okay. So then you graduate culinary school there, and you stay in kind of the Arizona, the Scottsdale area. And then what kind of restaurant were you working at there?
Well, I worked in hotels.
Hotels, okay.
Hotels, and I did personal catering. It's funny because I wound up going to California, working at Anaheim Angel Baseball Stadium.
Wow.
And I was doing side gig for, a side gig for a lady that worked in Arizona. She ran a catering company, and she hired me to do I go to people's houses and cook for her, more or less, private chefing. So went to Newport Beach and did a bunch of jobs. She really liked it. So when I came back to Arizona, I hooked up with her, and she gave me a bunch of work, and I did that for a long time. But I worked in all over Phoenix, all of the Civic Center. It was a long career, and it's a young man's game. That's all I gotta say. If you're a family man,
it's difficult. That's what I hear. What kind of requests would you get? Anything off the wall?
It was steak that really drove me mad. People always wanted the well done steak.
Oh, okay.
I think that was it.
Yeah. Like, you didn't have anybody like request like any exotic foods that you had to go and to some other country to get shipped in?
No, we had in a hotel I worked at the Marriott at McDowell Mountain, we had a kosher kitchen. So they rented out the whole place and turned it into a kosher kitchen. And there was certain things that you can and can't do. And that was a nightmare. Absolute nightmare.
Yeah. The kosher kitchen. Yeah. That's something that we haven't talked about either that much, but I can imagine that just the rituals and the cleanliness and the things that you have to do, it can kind of be hard, especially for going kind of a traditional kitchen to something like that.
Yeah. It's like they would have a sink, and you can thaw milk out in this sink if they come in frozen, but that's all it can do for 24 hours.
Yeah.
There can't be any meat touching it or anything like that. If you have a knife for meat, that's the knife for meat only for 24 hours. Everything changes the next day, which I thought was weird. Yeah. But they got rabbis coming in and just yelling at everybody. This can't be done this way. Oh.
Yeah, I bet, man. It's we get people ask us sometimes like, is your stuff kosher? And obviously we have to say no, but no, that's interesting. So you do that for a while, and then you're like, hey, this is a little too much for me. I'm getting a little older, and you kind of step out of the game. But then you stay with it, because then you start the podcast, you start the social media stuff. So
right.
So how's that going for you? You got the podcast, Chef, and then I follow you on socials and stuff like that. So how's that going for you?
It's going great, absolutely great. Yeah, TikTok's big. I jumped
Okay.
on Twitter when it was Twitter, and I got a pretty big account there, so that's nice.
Okay.
My Instagram got hacked, so I'm starting over.
Oh no.
Yeah, I had a pretty sizable following, and then
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I just couldn't get in my account one day. So starting from the ground up, but it is what it is. Whatever. It's
Yeah.
not the end of the world.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
that's a nightmare to once you get hacked and you
Oh,
try and get that back and it's I know accounts that have been over a year trying to get their stuff back and it's a nightmare working with Meta and all that kind of stuff. So well, I'm glad that you got at least you're starting over again on Instagram, but it sounds like you got a big following over there on Twitter and then TikTok. What are some of your favorite dishes to make?
you know what? I'm real big on smoking. I like
Okay,
I like to use my smoker, and I like tri-tip a lot. I find
tri-tip.
myself going to Costco, getting tri-tips, and just getting in there. But beef ribs is now slowly crawling up there to my new favorite because
Yeah.
it's the best bite in barbecue as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, if you get it just right, the beef ribs is
Oh,
great. Tri-tip's a little hard to find around here. We have to request it.
isn't
So
that weird?
it is, in the Midwest, it's something that you either have to request or like when you find it, you got to grab a couple of them because you don't know when you're going to find it again. So how do you like to prepare and cook up your tri-tip?
Tri-tip, I sear it hard
Okay.
on one side, and then I sear it on the other side. I use the indirect method on my
Hmm.
grill, and I'll just push it off to the side and close the lid, and I'll have my thermometer, my Bluetooth thermometer in
Yeah.
there. And once it reaches like 125, 130, I'll pull it off and let it rest. It's perfect every time.
So simple, so simple. Do you do like a marinade or anything like that ahead of time? What type of seasoning are you usually using?
I do something different every time. I do
Okay.
like to use the rubs because
Thank
they're
you.
clean. I'm
Yeah.
I like to consider myself a healthy guy,
Yeah.
after all the debauchery that happened in my youth.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I try to take care of myself. That was funny. But yeah, I'm getting over a cold, obviously.
Yeah. No
But
worries.
yeah, I use a lot of smoked paprika, a
Mm.
lot of salt, a lot of pepper, occasionally garlic. But yeah, those are my go-tos whenever I need something.
Now, what kind of smoker you got?
Okay, I've got one called a Smoky Mountain. It's a
Yep.
propane. It's
Oh,
got
it's
a
a
little
propane.
tub for wood, and then it's got flame underneath the wood, so it
Hmm.
creates the heat and the smoke, which is
Yeah.
nice. I also have an electric one.
Okay.
You can't beat it. You can't beat it. It's so simple. It does everything for you. If I want to go do something, get things done, I use the electric. If I want to
Okay.
sit down, smoke a cigar, and just piss the whole day away, I'll use the propane.
Okay. All right. Now,
Because
are
you have
those
to
just
adjust it.
yeah, yeah. Are those the only two you got, or do you have any other like grills?
Uh, I have a propane grill that my friend gave me. I used it
Okay.
once, put the cover back on it, and it's been sitting in my backyard ever since. I use
Sure.
charcoal
Yeah.
all the time, and then I have a large one, and it's a rotisserie as well. So I put a whole hog on that guy a couple times. We have
Mm.
a Halloween party every year, and then we get the hog, and we call it Hogoween.
Oh yeah. There. That's a good play on words there.
Yes,
So just a couple more questions about your tri-tip. So you get to about you say about 125, then you pull it and then you let it
yes,
rest. Yeah. Then
yeah.
you let it rest for about an hour or so and then you slice it. Now do you like I see a lot of these, especially kind of in like the California, like the Santa Maria and that kind of stuff. Do you do like a chimichurri sauce to go on top of it or anything like that? Or do you just straight up like slice it and serve it?
Chimichurri is big in our house.
Yeah, okay.
It's a
All
big
right.
deal. It's
Yeah.
nothing but flavor, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It's garlicky and herby, and
Yeah.
it's fantastic. But you don't always have to have it. But
Oh yeah.
it's definitely recommended.
Okay, good. Again, those are I think you see a lot of those flavors again down kind of the southwest that sometimes around here we're afraid to experiment with some of that stuff. So if you get a good tri-tip, get a good like chimichurri, I think you're good to go. So you said you do some hogs a few times a year. Now how big are these hogs you talking?
Uh, maybe 60 pounds.
Okay. Decent
Yeah,
size.
it's a decent size.
Yeah, you could feed a couple people with that.
Yeah, that's the whole reason I bought one of those meters, the
Yeah.
thermometers, is
Yeah.
because I wanted to know the temperature. So I did a lot of research before I started. You put the coals on the butt and the
Mm.
front because those are the thickest parts.
Yeah.
And so that's really where you want the heat.
Yeah.
So I stuck the meter in the hind end, and
Yeah.
that's how I kind of gauged it. When the hind end was done, everything else was done too.
Yeah. So is that charcoal or lump charcoal as well when you're using that, or
Charcoal.
you? Yeah. Okay.
I'll throw wood on there to get some
Yeah.
smoke.
Yep. And are you doing like any injections or anything like that? Are you rubbing it down inside and out, or how you doing it?
The first time I did it, I used your seasoning. It was the Memphis dry rub one,
Yeah.
pot
Yep.
smoke.
Yep.
That turned out nice. Then the second year, I used the same seasoning, but I took salt water and I injected every part of that thing with salt water. And
Okay.
it was nice and juicy and salty, which it was
Yeah.
anyhow because it's covered in fat,
Right.
which is
Yeah. Yeah.
it's so fun to watch it just bubble and crack and
Yeah. The crackling of the skin once it's about done. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
just marinating itself.
Yeah. Yeah. That's always a good like crowd pleaser too. So as you're carving it up, you can chop up some of that skin and pass it around for like an appetizer before you're ready to go.
Absolutely.
Hmm. And when you're carving it up, you just leave it all like hang out on the table and just kind of shred it up, and so people can come. Or how you cutting it?
Yeah, we take all of the parts and mix
Hmm.
them, and then
Okay.
chop them up and load them down. So basically, it's a giant pulled pork,
Yeah.
but you got
Yeah.
all the different parts in it. So it's pretty good. And you
Mhm.
need to have a party when you have a whole hog.
You
It's a
do,
lot of
man.
food.
It is. It is a lot of food, and like I feel like it draws people in, especially you got like a rotisserie going like that. It just
Oh yeah.
people just like to stand around it and talk. And one thing when we did it this last time, people really love like the head, like the jowls, like the cheeks, like it's real
Oh, the
nice and
cheese.
very
Oh,
fatty. Yeah, so it's almost like a big bite of fat, but it's very tasty.
yes. Yes. It's
Yeah.
packed with flavor. Tender.
Hmm.
People don't even think about that. They don't
Yeah.
think about the cheeks too much.
No, no, it's always about kind of the ribs and the hams and all that kind of stuff, and then also the
Right.
skin. So make sure you're taking apart that face and those cheeks as well, because there's a lot of good flavor in there. So what do you got? What do you got coming up here? We just did Easter. Did you do anything special for Easter?
I did a brisket.
Okay, brisket
I
on
did a
Easter.
brisket. That was nice. I used the all ration.
Oh, okay.
Another
Yep.
plug.
Well,
So
thank you. All
that's
purpose.
got like a Lowry seasoning salt kind of thing going on.
It does, yeah, yep. It
Yeah,
does have
it's
kind of that
nice.
all-purpose, and we try and keep it fine as well. So it covers evenly. So how did you do? Do you inject your briskets as well?
I don't do that. I'll rub them down, and
Hmm.
then I'll rub it with mustard, and then I'll
Okay.
put my whatever rub I put on. I let it sit for probably 15, 20 minutes, and then it'll start to sweat.
Yep.
And then I'll put it in the smoker, probably 225, 250, depending on how long I want to smoke it, how much
Sure.
time I have. And then I'll put my thermometer in it. I'll take it to 165 or 170. Sorry.
Mm.
And then I'll wrap it. And then
Okay.
I'll put it back in the smoker and I'll take it up to 204, and that's it. And the smoker that I have, the electric one, once it's done, it gets to the desired temperature that you want. It
Yeah.
will just shut down and go to 140 degrees and stay there for like 9 hours.
Wow.
So I'll go to
That's
bed once
yeah.
I wrap it.
Yeah.
And
And just keep
I'm
it
done.
there.
Yeah.
It's safe. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
'cause
do you? No,
go
no,
ahead.
go ahead.
Sorry. Every barbecue place I've worked at, when they make brisket, they hold it in a hot box at 140 degrees.
Okay.
So that's the perfect temperature. So that's what they serve it at. So why
Hmm.
wouldn't I want to hold it in that position? The
Yeah,
temperature for a long time.
yeah, that's a good tip there. Do you use aluminum foil? You butcher paper? How do you wrap it?
I go butcher paper.
Hmm.
Aluminum foil leaches into your food.
Okay.
So if you have heat and aluminum,
Hmm.
I'm not it's been proven like that it will leach into your food. So they call it the Texas crutch.
Yeah.
I always thought that was funny, and it works. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
I get great results with the paper. So
Yeah.
I'm sticking with it.
No, I get you. So I don't, let's talk a little bit about like leaches into your food. So what leaches into your food from aluminum foil?
So the actual aluminum
The
will
aluminum.
leach into your food, and then you're eating it. And I'm
Okay.
not sure if it changes the flavor profile at all, but like
Hmm.
there's been a lot of research done on it. Like just
Yeah.
wrapping your food and then heating it up will
Hmm.
trigger something to go in there. It's probably
Ah,
not supposed
interesting.
to be eating that. So
Yeah. That's interesting. Like I didn't know that. I'd say I didn't know that. So because usually, yeah, people are like, oh, you got to use, aluminum foil, butcher paper, all that kind of stuff. So you use butcher paper. Now, when you're wrapping your brisket, do you like put like we see people put like beef tallow down, anything like that, like before you wrap it?
yeah, I use tallow. And I always have tallow because I cook with it. Like I make
Yeah.
everything with it. And if not, I take a water and apple cider vinegar and I put it in a
Okay.
spray bottle. And
Yeah.
basically it's just to get the paper wet so it folds better.
Okay.
So it's nice. It's nice and pliable.
Got it. Got it.
So that's
So
the trick for that.
yeah, you use that and then you put it back on there till you get to what, like 203, 205, or what temperature are you looking?
Yeah, I'm looking about 204.
Okay.
So anywhere in there is going to be fine. As long as I can pick it up and it's nice and bendy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
The
something
probe.
about that paper soaking up all the fat.
Yeah.
It just looks all greasy
Yeah.
like a cheesesteak.
Yeah. Yeah. You get it probe tender and then you let it rest for a while. Now you said do you leave it in the smoker then at 140 then until you're ready to cut it, or do you take it out and
Absolutely.
then, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it stays in there. Normally I'll just sleep and get up and it's ready. So I don't
Yeah.
have to worry. It's been finished cooking and it's already had time to
Okay.
rest. So
Yeah.
that's important is letting it rest for a few hours at least.
Hmm.
Some people put it in a cooler and that will keep it at the same temperature as well.
Sure.
But I don't have to with this. It's a charbroil. That's the name of the grill. I got it on
Okay.
Amazon. I couldn't believe it.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's a good plug. And that's the one that's propane, right? Or is that the
No,
electric
that's
one?
the electric.
That's the
Every
electric
kitchen
one.
I've ever worked in has had an electric smoker.
Okay.
And they work great because they
Yeah.
maintain the same temperature and you don't have to, there's no fuss. So
Hmm.
you just
Hmm.
set it and you can go do 10 other things and know that that's working.
Yeah. No. I guess there's like the thought that you could taste the difference between like a wood or charcoal versus like an electric. What do you have, like, how, if somebody came to you with that, what would you say to them?
Well, my electric smoker does have wood.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's wood. It's just something, it's how you heat the wood.
Yeah.
So my propane heats wood, creates smoke, and so does my electric. It's just a heating coil, and then you
Hmm.
put the wood over it. So it
Okay.
creates smoke, and you're still getting smoke. So in my personal opinion,
Hmm.
as long as you got smoke, that's all
Yeah.
that matters.
Sure. I get you. I get you. So let's talk a little bit about now the podcast chef. You got the socials out there in the podcast. Are you on platforms for that? What's going on with that there?
Yeah, I'm on all of them. I'm
All
on
of them.
all of it. It's on Spotify, iTunes, all that. It was called the Podcast Chef for years, and then I realized that all I really talk about is grilling and smoking. So I rebranded it and called it the
Okay.
Smoke Show.
The Smoke Show. That's right. I
The
saw
Smoke
that
Show.
recently.
Yeah.
So
So
you can listen to the Smoke Show on any platform.
yeah,
Do you put those on YouTube as well, or is that
I
just
have a YouTube channel, but I'm
okay?
rebranding it, and
Okay.
I'm just doing shorts with it because I don't have a camera.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I'll just do
Gotcha.
shorts and things of that nature.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So you can find them, the Smoke Show, on all platforms that you listen to podcasts at. So what do you typically like? So what's the format of the podcast that you have? I'll be honest, I haven't listened to one yet.
That's all right.
So is it just you, or do you have guests on as well?
It's just me, and I'm
Okay.
not afraid of having guests. I do have another podcast that I do with my friend. He's in a band, so we kind of
Okay.
go that direction. It's not food
Yeah. Yeah.
related. But this one, it's basically a tutorial. So the very first one I did was pastrami. I made
Oh, wow.
pastrami, and it was fantastic. And I basically just walk you through how I did it. And
Okay.
at the end of the day, I want you to know that you can do it and it's not that hard. I just dumb it down for everybody. I don't give you the recipe, I give you the technique.
Sure.
Because
Well, that makes sense.
that's one thing I learned in culinary school is technique is that's all they're teaching you. They're not
Yeah.
teaching
Yeah.
you specific recipes. They're just like, here's how you do this. And then after that, it's all imagination. It's all creativity.
Mm.
So if I can teach you to, go take these 3 steps, I broke it down to 3 steps. And then in these 3 steps, there are a few steps that you take. And like you can make the brine any way you want, but there's a couple
Right.
things in there that you have to do. You have to use curing salt.
Mhm.
You should use pickling spice of some sort, but you can make your own pickling spice. People toast it and they make their own. I just went and bought some. Smells fantastic. It's got everything in it that you need, and it worked great.
Mm.
So yeah, that's
So,
pretty much the podcast. At the end of it, it's called the Smoke Show. I do enjoy cigars on the weekends,
okay. So you
so
got
I
like
did smoke.
then you smoke a cigar. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So
Uh,
at the end of it, I'll give like cigar etiquette, what to do, what
ah,
not to do, and there's plenty of that.
I like that, man, because we have a lot of people that like to partake in that as well, especially when they're smoking meat. So that makes sense. And I like that too, man. So you bring a different aspect to it. You've obviously been trained. You went through schooling for that. So I think you can bring some great insights to people that are just want to continue to learn, like myself, and get better. And I like how you say you break it down and you keep it real simple, so anybody can do it. And that's kind of what we're all about, is making it easy for people to get out there and have confidence to make good meals at home for their families.
Right.
So that's awesome. What would you say is your favorite meal to cook?
To cook, wow. I got to go steak, dude.
Steak,
Straight
yeah.
up.
All
I eat
right.
steak all the time. So
Yeah.
I prioritize my protein, as I like to say.
Well, that's
So
good.
I make
Us too.
that.
So how do you like to do your steaks?
I primarily eat ribeye.
Yeah.
So I'll
Yeah.
cut them nice and thick. I go to Costco and buy the whole thing.
I got you. Yeah.
Then I'll cut it up and I'll shrink wrap it, throw it in the freezer.
Yep.
And I always have a couple that are like really thick.
Yeah.
And I can feed 2 or 3 people with those.
Sure.
So those are my favorite to cook.
Okay. just salt, pepper, and fire, or how you doing it?
Yeah, pretty much. And butter. I like the butter
Okay.
at the end.
Now, do you make like a compound butter, or do you like just put a straight up like store-bought butter on there?
You know what? I've always got butter. I've always got garlic, and always got herbs growing. So I'll take rosemary or whatever herb I have, garlic and salt and pepper, compound it, and I'll make a log. And I
Okay.
generally have a log of something at all times.
In the freezer, so like when you're ready, you just kind of
Yeah.
chop it up. Yep.
Get in there, put a slice on it, and I'll
Yeah.
even take the cast iron pan and finish it on the grill. Like I'll grill the steak, put the steak in the pan, throw the butter on top, and close the lid so the butter melts. Oh,
Melts. Yeah. Perfect.
so good.
Well, we're coming up to the end here, Chris. So, where can people find you? If you want to like give your website, your socials, where can people find you?
Yeah, the new Instagram is the Smoke Show Podcast Chef, and
Okay.
then on X and Twitter and Facebook is going to, or no, X, TikTok, and Facebook is going to be the Podcast Chef.
Okay.
And you can find me on YouTube as well, but there's really not much there. I kind of got rid of all my old videos because it was the Podcast Chef, and I'm rebranding. So there's a couple shorts, but it would be the Podcast Chef as well.
Yeah, no, we'll put all that stuff in the show notes so people can find you. We highly encourage you to go out there and check out what he's got, because he's bringing a whole new level of technique to the smoking and grilling. So we appreciate that. And then we got one question for you, Chris. I ask everybody that comes on the show, because we do have a lot of new barbecuers and grillers that listen or newer. So I want to get your take. Like, what are your top 3 pieces of barbecuing or grilling equipment that you would recommend somebody to get? This is assuming that they got like a grill already and all that kind of stuff. But this is like, if you're starting out, here are your 3 top things that somebody should have when they're starting out grilling.
My number 1 is a good pair of tongs. I like the spring-loaded tongs, not the ones with the little thing that slides up and down. Those are usually flimsy.
Yeah.
And that when you go to pick up a nice tri-tip or something heavy, you're not getting a good grip. So something that gives a good grip.
Okay.
I would say go on Amazon and get yourself a couple sheet trays.
Yeah.
The half sheet trays, because you're going to be transporting things from one place to another. And the sheet tray is nice. You can put a lot of stuff on it. You can even get it with the, looks like a cookie rack, a little screen that goes on it. Those are nice too, because it keeps it off of its, you can season the steak and it's not directly on the pan. It's sitting on the rack itself. Get some airflow.
Airflow, yeah.
And then I would say number 3, wow. You know what? If you're flipping burgers, you're going to need a nice spatula, something metal. Nothing. Just get away from all things that are plastic whenever you're dealing. And you want something heavy duty.
Heavy duty, something reliable.
Right.
Good spatula. So good pair of tongs, heavy duty tongs with grip. Some nice, sheet pans with some racks on there, and then a nice spatula. So those are your top 3. I think that'll be helpful. And I appreciate you sharing that. I appreciate you coming on the podcast, spending some time with us today. If you're listening here, go out and follow Chris and what he's doing. Definitely follow him on the socials and see what he's cooking up. But Chris, thanks again so much for being on the podcast. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. This was awesome.